Today, in current events from a Christian perspective, as much as Vice President Harris would like to convince you that she is a new, fresh face and wants all of us to move forward into some unreachable utopia, the truth is she's been in politics for decades, and in her own words,
I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
her values have not changed. Yes, you may be hearing all sorts of new and exciting things from her, like free money for housing and free money for childcare and free snow cones at the school assembly or other things. The reality is, Kamala has been and will be the most liberal U.S. senator and politician. She was rated that in 2019, as you're seeing here, and will continue to be that way. We'll look at that from CNN. Even CNN had to get in the game and talk about the same politics that she had before are currently coming in now. All this and more today. I'm Matt Odegaard, and this is Church Public. Well, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like buttons and the subscribe buttons and all the buttons. Just mash them all, because then something will happen. Who knows? Who knows exactly what will happen, but something will probably happen. Or maybe nothing will happen at this point. With the way social media is, I don't even know. You can always go to churchpublic.com for the latest. I'll make sure it gets uploaded there, at least for now. Otherwise, you can go to all of the podcast places. If you're on audio, thank you. I love you. If you want to see this on video, if you want to see some of the images and videos that we're showing here, I'm going to upload this to the YouTubes. I love you. I hope you like me back. But if you don't, I'll find another place to post this video so that you can see those pictures and images. All right, let's go ahead and go to some of the news of the day. Obviously, this debate between Trump and Harris happened, and it was wild. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it was just, I probably, most of you did not watch it. That's fine. I'm not going to go through all of it. I want to go through a couple things, because I think a couple things are important to understand the time that we're in and the things that we're working through, especially as we lead up to this election. I think it's important. I think it's important that you vote. I think it's important that you understand who and how you're voting, and what implications that has. So we'll look at that. And as always, we look at things from a Christian perspective. That's my perspective. I do not hide that or make any qualms about that. So if you're looking for a different perspective, this might not be the show for you. So we're going to look at those things. And I mean, I hope you stick around to the end. We're going to look at something good, because there's always something good. God is always doing something good with the things that he has. So we'll look at some of the wild things that are going on and some good things as well. So Harris's policies are left of Bernie Sanders. If you're not familiar with Bernie Sanders, he is a far left. I mean, I think he even, I may have this wrong, but I know he did spend time in Russia when he was younger, and he really likes the way certain communist places do things. He just likes that, according to him. So check that if you want. But apparently some of Kamala's policies are even further than that. And again, to say it from a different place, Kamala's policies has not changed. So her values have not changed. She was the most liberal senator in 2019. And this was based on a GovTrack analysis. And in this 2019 review, she outranked Bernie Sanders and even Elizabeth Warren. So that's, again, if you're just listening, I'm just showing you the clip of that, just so that we're all on the same page here. So then this debate happened. And again, I'll play a couple clips later, I think. But after the debate, CNN had a guy on who they were trying to figure out, has Kamala changed? Has she not changed? Like, we don't know. So this CNN host had another person on, and I want to play this for you because what I want you to watch for in this clip is the reaction of the CNN host to some of the values that she couldn't possibly imagine, I would say, anyone would hold, much less the current vice president and the nominee for the president of the United States. Let's watch this clip.
Tonight, Kamala Harris released the details of her policy positions.
Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. Give me just a moment to get this back up and running. We will hopefully get this back in just a second. I'm going to keep talking, presumably thinking that the audio is coming through. At this point, I don't even know. So give me 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds. Hold on. In 3, 2, 1. How about now? Nope, still no sound. Sometimes the devil's in the details, and the devil is definitely in these details. Okay, I might have it back. So I'm going to try to go back here. We're going to try to hit it. And
Tonight, Kamala Harris releasing details of her policy positions for the first time on her campaign website. A K-file investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what K-file found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers, and I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she supported
Taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants.
migrants.
She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this.
Oh.
And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things that, you know, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants, and yet this, as you say, written and verbally.
so I hope you hear and understand the processing in real time from this host who's like, I mean, we know she's liberal, but she's not that bad, right? And then this guy goes, well, here's some of the things. She wants to pay for gender transitions for illegal immigrants. And if you heard there, go back and listen. Again, also for federal inmates. So if you're in prison or you're here illegally, gender transition surgeries, we'll pay for it. No problem. This host is incredulous. Like, she does not believe this could possibly be a thing. She interrupts him and goes, wait, what? They're going to pay for this? And he's like, yeah, that's what she said. And I'm just going to throw this out there again, and then we're going to move on from this statement. Here we go. Nope. Nothing's working at this point, so I don't know what's happening. Okay, so if this doesn't work, we're going to try and do it this way and see what happens.
I know you say that your values have not changed.
As it relates to my values, let me tell you, my values have not changed.
So this is the recent debate where she says, hey, my values just have not changed, not at all. Okay. I think the bottom line here is that she's said it and we should believe it. Her values are way, way left, including all the things that you just heard. And she herself has said they've not changed. So I'm going to take her at her word on that one. Let's talk about the thing that I don't want to talk about, but we have to, and apparently we have to every time, and that is abortion, the taking of baby lives for no reason other than mostly selfishness in almost every situation. It is an offense to God. I've got my Bible here again next to me. We could go to Genesis 1, where, people are made in God's image. We could go to Matthew 19, where Jesus talks about the value of the family. We could go to Luke 1 and 2, where Jesus comes to earth as a baby, and even like baby Jesus and baby John the Baptist in their mother's tummies are like kicking each other or kicking their mothers and like go and read. I'm not making this up. Go to Luke 2, Luke 1 and 2, and read the story of baby Jesus. Even as Christians, we celebrate Christmas with baby Jesus. Like, it's kind of a big deal. So to say that babies' lives have no value and it's just a quote unquote healthcare choice for the mother is just incoherent, ridiculous, murderous, the most terrible thing. And yet that's just the language that we put on it. Not we, because I don't. That's the language that this culture puts on it with no regard for human life at all. So then, in this debate, Trump talks about how there is late-term abortion in many Democrat-run states, and Kamala and even the fact-checkers are like, no, that's not happening. But let's read a couple of pieces and let's watch this video and see what he says about this.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her
Why-
that question?
why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question, would you
because
veto?
under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question,
you
would you
could,
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside, and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and
Okay, so they stop him immediately because obviously that is 100% true, that there are several states that have no way to, or no regulations to save a baby if it is born alive from an abortion. This is terrible. We have to talk about it. And there are more than a dozen states that have no protections for babies born alive in these procedures, including Minnesota, where the vice president candidate on the Democrat side has been governor. He, in fact, removed, while he was in office, those protections for a baby born alive. So not only is this happening, it is prevalent, and it's terrible. And I will admit, Trump got one thing wrong. I believe it was the governor of West Virginia, not Virginia. I feel like that's a fairly, innocuous mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. So I'll give credit for that. But the lie that it's not happening is just ridiculous. I don't even really want to play this one, but I'm going to play a little bit of it. This is the former governor of that state talking about what happens if the baby is born alive.
When we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
In other words, the baby will be born alive, and then they'll talk about whether they're going to kill it or not. I mean, that's what this monster is talking about, and that is what Trump referred to. This is very clearly this former governor's position on how he's running the abortion mill in the state, allowing this atrocity. So then, fast forward, I found this clip. This is a pro-life activist, Kristen Hawkins, who is having a debate with a random person. I believe it's at a college campus. I'm not sure. You'll see in a second. And this person said the same thing. Late-term abortions are not happening. That's not possible. So this lady, Kristen Hawkins, calls the abortion facility right here, and you will hear this phone call. Listen.
We're going to call the abortion facility, and I'm going to tell them I'm pregnant with a 32-week fetus, as you say. Hi, I just turned 32 weeks pregnant. Am I able to come in for an abortion ASAP?
I wouldn't be able to see you for the week of the 23rd, so that would put you at 34 weeks.
Can I still have an abortion at 34 weeks?
Yes, ma'am. I just have to do an intake form. Do you have about 5 minutes?
Sure, I have 5 minutes. Yeah, I just found out that she could have Down syndrome. I can still have the abortion, right, even though she has Down syndrome?
Yeah, so we just have to do an intake because of...
believable. So Harris is standing up saying, like, oh, that never happens. It's not even possible for that to happen. This is an example of a person calling an abortion mill right in this moment. And they're like, yeah, sure, we don't care. We don't care if you did it because you don't want to have your baby, because your baby might not be exactly perfect in the way that you think they should be. Not to mention that you're fearfully and wonderfully made according to the Bible. No, that doesn't matter. Sure, we'll kill your baby, no problem. This is, and I've said this before, but I must say it again, the most extreme abortion platform, the most extreme pro-abortion, pro-death platform of any administration in American history, and it's not even close. Like, you need to know that when you make your decision coming this fall. And I'm going to put up this other thing that I had before, and actually it happens to be from the same organization that Kristen Hawkins is in.
We're going to call the abortion facility, and I'm going to tell them.
Press the wrong button. Don't pay any attention to that. Okay, I'm going to put this up again. This just happens to show just a great reminder that you are going to have a choice, and your choice is going to be, the difference between the number of babies who will die if Kamala is president and the number of babies that will die if Trump is president. And there is a difference there. And you just have to trust Kamala when she says, hey, my values have not changed. This is clearly what I believe. All right. So that was a downer. That was terrible. I hated even talking about it, but we have to know the reality of the world that we're living in and the reality of this election and the consequences therein. So we've got to work through that. Now, we get to a topic that is both ridiculous and also terrible. And I don't even know how to talk about this, but unfortunately, there is a community in Springfield, Ohio that has been inundated, as their population was around 60,000. They received from the federal government, transporting them there, around 20,000 Haitian migrants. And there are, and I'm not going to play any of them. You can go and look them up if you so choose, but there are credible phone calls, videos, pictures of Haitian migrants with cats, with geese, phone calls of people saying, hey, I'm watching them take the heads off ducks and then put them in a stew. I mean, so you can say none of this is happening. Okay, but it is. I mean, and in the debate, I don't think I clipped this part, but in the debate, the moderator said this isn't happening, and the city manager said it's not happening. So who do you believe? Do you believe your lying eyes and the people that are there saying this is happening, or the city manager who is in charge of the image of the city? The government official who says, of course this isn't happening in the city because I can't tell you this is happening in the city, or the people who are saying, hey, this is happening. Now, I will add this personal anecdote and this personal story for you. I have been to the island of Haiti, to the country of Haiti. I've been there. I walked past a house where a voodoo witch doctor, real story, a voodoo witch doctor was making a potion or something in a cauldron. I mean, this story sounds insane, but it's real. I do not have a picture of it because I was told that you're not allowed to do that for fear of my life. So I did not take a picture of this happening, but this did in fact happen. Voodoo witch doctor with a pot of something. I presume it was small animals, because that's all there are on this island that is just ravaged for resources, because that is the way this island is. And in front of that cauldron of brewing things was a cross that was on fire when I walked by. So this all happened. Witchcraft, voodoo is very important. I mean, if you're listening or watching, I happen to have some tattoos. You can't see this one on my forearms. I was told that I was not allowed to show the tattoos, and it was not for my safety, but it was because tattoos are used for voodoo and witchcraft in there, and they would believe that instead of being a Christian, by having tattoos on my arms, that I would be involved in the witchcraft and voodoo that was going on the island. So I tried to hide them as much as I could so that people would know that, no, I'm not associated with that satanic evil that's going on there. I can say too, and I will say this, the people that I encountered and the Christians that were there were the most wonderful people maybe I've ever experienced. They were absolutely wonderful. But both types of people were on this island. So when I hear things like they're eating small animals, it doesn't surprise me at all. And in fact, it's probably more than just eating them. They're probably using them in witchcraft and voodoo ceremonies, which I haven't seen really any news reports talking about. But having been there and seen this with my own eyes, I would not be surprised at all if that's what's going on. Okay, so I had to tell you that personal story because I witnessed it personally while I was on the island of Haiti. Now, tens of thousands of Haitian migrants are now in America, and they're doing weird things because that is the culture there, and they did not come to America and assimilate into a Western Christian world. They just brought everything they knew with them. This is obvious. This is obvious to anyone who understands anthropology, culture, humans. Like, this is obvious. So Trump says, and a little bit brashly, no doubt, that they're eating cats and dogs in the debate. Here you go.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's
So, if you are just listening, this is just a video of the debate. You have Trump saying that they're eating the dogs and the cats. You have Kamala laughing. I think you hear some of the other moderators laughing off screen. You can't really see them. After this, again, the moderator actually gets in a debate with Trump and says, no, that's not happening. And he's like, but it is. So here's where I want to go with this story, because I'm not going to try to prove it to you. If you don't believe it, don't believe it. There are so many people on the ground showing you wild stories of things that are happening. If you don't believe it at this point, like, I don't know. But here's where I want to go with this story, because this has all been really depressing, and I don't want to get too depressed, and I want to show you this. What this turned into very quickly was, you could call it a meme, you could call it a song. Trump was once again, for not the first time, immortalized in a song, and this time about eating the dogs and the cats. Here you go.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
I mean, that just bumps. I don't know who you are, but that just goes. It goes hard. If you're just listening, you're missing half of the excitement that's happening right now. I mean, he's dancing. There's the dogs, the cat. I mean, there's so much happening. So this meme happened, number one. Then immediately following this, and in the viral social media way that only it can happen, the biggest trending thing on TikTok, and you can go look this. Actually, don't recommend you go to TikTok, but if you are, you can go to TikTok. This was like a day or so ago, so I don't know if it's still happening, but the biggest trend on TikTok was people dancing to Trump singing about this. And it was just wild. It was just wild to see all these people. Now, I will also point out that many of the people who remixed this Trump hit about eating dogs and cats were making fun of Trump and really angry at Trump for lying about this, or quote unquote lying, allegedly lying. And I'm here to say, you're like, Matt, where are we going with this? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Listen, you have to know that social media and TikTok is the way that Zoomers absorb news. They did not, I guarantee you, almost all of Generation Z, these Zoomers did not watch the debate. It was just too much. It was too much for me, and I like watching this stuff. So I guarantee they didn't see it. But I guarantee you something they saw was this crazy cat video and the people dancing to this soundtrack. So why does this all matter? It matters because it's a meme. And here's the thing that the left does not understand, cannot understand, will never understand, because the left is just not funny. The left is serious because they have to lie. And when you have to lie, you can't joke about a lie, because a lie has to take the truth and change it into something that's not true. And the only way to enforce a lie is violence, which is why you're seeing violence escalate and will see violence escalate, because if you have to promote a lie, it has to be through violence. It has to be through force. You have to force a person to not live by the truth. Read Solzhenitsyn, read 1984, read Animal Farm, read The Brave New World. Like you have to make someone agree with a lie by force. You can't do it for reals. So true things don't need you to force it because everybody knows it's true, which is why you can make fun of true things and you can make fun of things that are trying to be true but aren't true because it's funny. It's funny to do this. So when you see Trump dancing to a rap song about eating dogs and cats, as horrendous as that is, it's also really funny. So why does this matter? Because this is a meme, and a meme is like poetry. It's like a song. Like, you don't have to sit there and think, what is this song really about? Like, what is the deep meaning of the song? You just know it. You know it in your heart. You feel it. It may even make you smile or laugh or even cry sometimes, but you know it's a true thing. So this poetry makes you feel good even when you don't know why. The music makes you feel good even when you don't know why. And in this case, the memes and the dances to the memes make you laugh and feel good, and you don't know why. Even if, and here is a crucial distinction that the left cannot understand, even if the people dancing and making fun of this are against Trump, it doesn't matter because it's still funny and people are still going to see it and think good things about Trump. And you're not going to believe me on this, but I'm telling you, it's true. Okay. We're going to keep going on. I got a couple more. How are we doing on time? Oh, man, you all are so patient with me. Let's do a little bit more here. This one was just wild to me. So I see this image. I'm just kind of scrolling through, and I see this image, and it is of Biden wearing a Trump MAGA hat. Now, there's so much AI out there. It is very difficult to know what is real and what's not real. I mean, that's the reality of the world we live in. It's not great. This is not a great trend that we're going on. So I looked into this, and this picture is 100% real. This is Joe Biden, who is the current, in case you forgot, because there's so much else going on. In case you forgot, Joe Biden is actually still the current president of the United States of America. It's kind of an important thing. I don't know what else he's doing because there's about to be world wars all over the place. But at the very least, Joe Biden is still the president of the United States of America, and he's visiting firehouses. And in this particular one, he put on a Trump hat. And you're like, this has got to be AI. This has got to be fake, whatever. So I tracked down the video of him going through and putting on this hat, the whole exchange that is a real thing that happened. So here you go. I'll turn down the audio a little. It doesn't really matter. At any rate, what you're seeing here is he's walking through. He's joking. He jokes with the guy. They say you're old and you can't remember your name. Like, this is funny. And they're joking about how he's old and Biden's old. And so the guy goes, hey, sign my hat and whatever's happening here. And then they're just telling stories. Like, it's just a bunch of old dudes like jabbering back and forth. And the guy goes, and wait, so pause here for a second. The guy does not offer his hat to Biden. Biden says, hey, now I need that hat. I'll see. I may even be able to back this up again so you can like hear this. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it up, and you're gonna listen to what Biden says. He's like, "No, now I need that hat," meaning the MAGA hat. So listen.
Well, I'm gonna give him one. There you go, man. I need that hat. Want my autograph? Hell no.
So he says, "I need that hat." Grabs the MAGA hat, and then the guy's like, "You need to put that hat on," and he's like, "Nah," and he's like, "Well." And there it is. There's the picture. He's wearing the Trump hat. And listen, like, there's so much that you could say and do about this. Like, it's just wild. But ultimately, as much as I don't personally like the policies that Biden has put into place and don't believe that he's done a good job running the country, this is the Biden that people like, that he is kind of funny and jokes with people and is weird and puts on the Trump MAGA hat. And at this point, who knows? Like, he obviously is off the hook now. He's not running for president anymore. It doesn't really matter at all what he does. In fact, period. It doesn't matter. So now he's going to wear a Trump hat. Now, I'm sure his handlers, the Democrats, I'm sure they hated this. Probably tried to fact check this, but this happened and it's 100% real. And I just saw it and just laughed hysterically. Like, it's wild that this is the part of the story that we're in this election. And so I thought that was good after all the just depressing things that we looked at already, and thought I should share this. Now, I also want to say, like, don't get too down. Don't get too depressed. God is doing something good in the land, and he says it even in this Bible verse, Romans 8. We know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and have been called according to his purpose. So I love that. I wanted to share that, and I want to share some great stories that God is doing. So, speaking of Ohio, but in a good way, the Ohio State football team hosted an on-campus faith event called Let's Give Him the Glory, handed out something like 10,000 Bibles, 2,000 people attended, people were baptized. Let's just watch a little bit of this.
These Ohio State football players just did something on campus that I have never seen before. A free event put on by some of the Buckeyes' biggest stars collected thousands from the Ohio State community and grew even more throughout the night. It was all about sharing their faith in Jesus, which started with everybody coming together to worship, and the energy was amazing. Each of the players went up to share their stories of how their relationship with Jesus has changed their lives and how much God loves each and every person in the crowd. Courageous attendees took a leap of faith to come up front and pray a prayer to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and it only gets better. Late into the night, with everyone taking notice, person after person made the decision to get baptized, which is a public profession of their faith, and lives are going to be changed forever.
I mean, I have chills even right now. That is just so incredible. Buckeyes receiver Emeka Egbuka said, quote, "The world didn't give me this joy. The world can't take away this joy. I had this new feeling in my heart that the Holy Spirit implanted into me. And so since then, it was a really radical change for me. I started walking more obediently with God, started seeking him day after day. He's worked on me, and I've had this grace of people in my life to get me to this point." Running back Trayvon Henderson said, "Jesus changed my life, set me free from sin, made me holy, made me righteous. I'm only righteous because of what the Lord has done for me. It wasn't anything I did. It was Jesus. It was Jesus. He wants to do the same for you." End quote. This is super awesome, and it's something good. And in the midst of all of this just wild, radical silliness, I do want to say that I'm seeing something else. I'm seeing something else going on, and I'm seeing that God is moving, and he's doing something, especially in the younger generation who is fed up with all of the lies, who is fed up with all just the terrible situations that are going on here and around the world. And I love it, and I love to see it, and I think we need to pay attention to this. So I'm going to try to continue to highlight stories of stuff like this. In fact, I even have another one for you. Let's see this. This was Texas A&M, their Corpus Christi campus. They brought about 1,500 students in. 1,500 students gathered. If you can see or hear, they're singing, what's the song called? I can't remember the name of the song. I'll think of it in a second. So they're singing this worship song together, and they're just sitting there, and like 1,500 students, they're standing there singing. It is wonderful. Dozens of students were baptized here. New Life Church pastors Michael and Bonnie Failer posted their joint Facebook account, reported the campus gathering. If you're listening, it's just showing pictures of them being baptized at the Texas A&M Corpus Christi campus. The pastor, Tariq Whitmore, told the Christian Post on Tuesday he preached the gathering. His message was on Isaiah 6, conviction, cleansing, commissioning that follows a genuine encounter with God, which is awesome. He told the Christian Post the night continued with students and young adults sharing testimonies, real-time salvation, healing, deliverance, being filled with the Spirit, and the night concluded with those who wanted God to use them on their college campus, all declaring, "Here I am, send me." Man, I love that. I think it's just so cool that God is moving and he's doing things, especially on college campuses with the young people. That's why kind of I pointed out that silly dog and cat meme from Trump. Many of these students are getting their information and their truth from TikTok. That's actually a terrible idea and not the place I would suggest you getting your truth and information, and especially theology, from. I think you should read the Bible and do what it says. I say that every time. You need to do that. However, somehow God is also using this broken and terrible means of social media to reach out to students who are disenfranchised and broken and hurting and lonely and meaningless, and connecting them with other people who love Jesus. And we need to pray for that more and more as we see the day of Jesus approaching. So with that, man, I'm really appreciative that you stopped by today. I hope that you will like this, share this, do all the things. As always, I'm Matt Odegaard, and I hope that you will keep the faith.